Hey, Mr. Watson, this is Katie Wicker in your English 113 online class, and I chose to do my presentation on Before Breakfast. The author is Eugene O'Neill. He was born in 1888 and died in 1953. He was born in New York. He was the son of a well-known actor. O'Neill wrote more than 40 plays, and he is still the only U.S. dramatist to have received the Nobel Prize in Literature. Before Breakfast, though one of O'Neill's earliest plays, shows his characteristic: control of point of view, conflict, character, and setting. The story took place before breakfast, obviously, in Mr. and Mrs. Rollins' home, in the kitchen. Well, that's where the main setting was for Miss Rollins, which did all the talking, the entire play. From beginning to end, Miss Rollins nags at her husband because of they're going into poverty. You know, he's not wanting to go out and find a good job that they can live off of. He's not wanting to do any of that. He's not wanting to be a good husband and take care of her like he's supposed to, and he's running around on her. The entire time she tells him that he needs to get out of bed and shave. That, you know, I don't know how early it was in the morning, but apparently he was sleeping later than he should have, because she was fixing breakfast for him and he needed to get up before it got cold. He gets up and shaves, and Miss Rollins keeps nagging at him about the way their life is now and how he won't go out and get a job and take care of them like he's supposed to, like a husband is supposed to back in that day. And at the end of the story, she calls his name, talking to him, and says Alfred about 4 or 5 times, and he doesn't respond. She goes to the bedroom door, and all it says is that she looks down at the floor and runs out of that area she was in, screaming down an outer hallway, and then the play ends. So we don't know what happened. Mystery. What the story means. O'Neill describes the setting, which is in Greenwich Village, the traditional New York home of artists, actors, and poets. On one hand, it suggests Mr. Rollins' artistic aspiration, but on the other hand, it shows, you know, pretty much that they are in poverty, and that poverty, you know, that indicates the sad truth that dreams cannot be sustained unless someone pays the rent. And that's, you know, half of what the story is about, is when she's nagging about him not going out and getting a job, where they can't afford food. You know, all she had was, I think, some bread and coffee for that morning for them to eat, and that was it. Miss Rollins, being the only speaker in the play, indicates both her lack of education and her intense dissatisfaction with where she's at in life and what has happened to their marriage, which has gone way downhill. Her speech also suggests the social gulf that they both tried to overcome by marriage, but now is overriding both of them. His family was wealthy and hers was not. You know, it kind of gave a clue that his family wasn't really crazy about her, that they did not like the woman that he picked to marry. And I think after a while, he seen that, and I think that's why he wasn't happy with her, and that he was running around on her and everything, like, you know, everything he was doing wrong. They are on 2 different levels of society, which makes them separate even more, makes them distant with each other because they can't relate. She's not educated. He is. His family's wealthy. Hers is not. There's just a lot of barriers there that they tried to overcome by getting married in the first place. And it just obviously did not work out. My final thought and question is, what in the world happened at the end of that story? And that's what makes it so interesting. O'Neill didn't want you to come to that play and leave thinking, oh, that was pretty good, that was all right. He wanted you to come to that play, and when it ended, he wanted you to be like, oh my gosh, what happened? You know, he wanted you to be thinking about it when you went out the door. You know, not forgetting about it once you went out. He wanted you to keep thinking about it. He wanted you to end it the way that you thought it should have been ended. Or, you know, he wanted to leave it a mystery because that makes stories more interesting. But I would really, that's what caught my attention. I really like this story. Very, very interesting, and I like that it's a mystery, and, you know, it kind of leaves you hanging in a way, but it's a good hanging, I guess. That's my question, is what happened to Alfred?